I had the world's longest legs.
Do you ever imagine what it would be like to be taller than all of your friends? Well, these women know all about being a full head and shoulders above the crowd. We found 20 of the tallest women in the world, and they have some pretty incredible stories. Meisie Curran. Meisie is breaking the record for having the longest legs in the world. She's only 16, but she is 6 feet 9 inches tall and has 53-inch legs. Meisie towers over her mom and siblings wherever they go. But other than that, she's a normal teenager. She shared that being tall has its advantages. She can easily spot her friends in a crowd. Some disadvantages, Meisie mentioned, are hitting her head, having trouble getting into cars, and finding clothes that are long enough to fit her tall body.
On today's shopping spree, I'm hoping to find some back-to-school clothes.
Ekaterina Lasina. Ekaterina was the record holder for the world's longest legs before Meisie came along. She is also 6 feet 9 inches tall, but her legs are 52 inches long, an inch shorter than Meisie's. Ekaterina is the tallest model in the world. She's also said to have the biggest feet in Russia with a size 14 shoe. Ekaterina owes her height to her family. All of the members of her family are at least 6 feet tall. She started playing basketball professionally at 15 years old, but now she works as a model.
See my long legs? Most of the cars, it just doesn't have it.
She said that she was blessed with a fabulous height so she can reach the stars. Molly Duongdi. At one time, Molly Duongdi was listed as the tallest woman in the world in the Guinness Book of World Records. At 6 feet 9.5 inches, she was known as Thailand's tallest woman, but her life was not easy. She suffered from health problems, largely due to a brain tumor that appeared when she was only 9 years old. Molly had high blood pressure and heart disease, which eventually took her life at the young age of 24. Before she left this world, she got the chance to meet Thailand's tallest man. He was also at the hospital seeking treatment for health complications associated with his height.
หนูคิดว่าถึงตัวหนูจะใหญ่ไม่เหมือนคนอื่น
Caroline Wells. This German woman is known around her home country for her height. She is 6 feet 9 inches tall, and most Germans see her as an inspiration. This beauty is so tall, she makes every doorway look tiny. Considering how difficult it is for people her height to find clothes that fit properly, it's no wonder she became a tailor to supplement her income, while she also works as a model. We're willing to bet that she's a favorite among tall people at her tailor shop. Maria Stepanova. At 6 feet 8 inches, Maria has no problem reaching things on high shelves, but that's not her only talent. She also knows her way around the basketball court. She is a Russian professional ball player at an Olympic level. She's distinguished as one of the tallest basketball players in the world. As you can imagine, it takes large feet to support such a tall frame. That's why Maria's basketball shoes are a whopping size 15. She's got a long history in basketball that goes all the way back to 1998 in the WNBA with the Phoenix Mercury team. Brittany Griner. Brittany is also a Phoenix Mercury, playing center position for the team. She's a record breaker, and not because of her 6 foot 8 inch height. Brittany is the only NCAA player to have ever scored 2,000 points and blocked 500 shots. She was named AP Player of the Year and Most Outstanding Player of the Final Four in 2012. Of course, her accomplishments have everything to do with hard work and ability, but being that tall certainly doesn't hurt when you're shooting baskets. Lindsay K. Hayward. Lindsay is a pro wrestler and actress who measures in at 6 feet 8 inches tall. She was recognized in the Guinness Book of World Records for being the tallest woman in a leading role of a movie. That role was a dominatrix in the racy film R100. She also appeared in the TLC show My Giant Life, which was all about her and her co-stars living large as tall women in a small world. Lindsay learned to embrace her height from a young age. At age 9, she was already 6 feet tall. Imagine how hard it must have been for her to fit in those tiny 4th grade desks at that height. Lindsay Taylor. This basketball-playing beauty has been a pro in the sport for a long time. She is 6 feet 8 inches tall, which has helped her score baskets for several teams in the WNBA, including the Houston Comets, Phoenix Mercury, Seattle Storm, and the Washington Mystics. She has played in the WNBA, Ligue Féminine de Basketball, the WKBL, and the Polish Women's League. But basketball was not her first love. She originally wanted to play in the high school marching band until her friends talked her into joining the basketball team. Gatika Srivastava. Gitika comes by her height honestly. Her dad is a former basketball player who measures 7 feet 4 inches tall. Following in her dad's footsteps, Gitika played basketball in the Indian national women's basketball team. She was the tallest one on the court at 6 feet 11 inches tall. Now Gitika is an entrepreneur. She founded a network called Noia. It was created for cancer patients to help them make important treatment decisions. Although she went on a different path, she says that her father still inspires her more than anyone. Uljana Semjonova. This woman has had one of the biggest impacts on women's international basketball ever. This Latvian superstar was voted the most popular athlete in her home country 12 times, from 1970 to 1985. She towered over the other players at an incredible height of 7 feet tall. She began her 18-year career in basketball in 1968. During that time, she never lost a single international game. Being tall and talented has its benefits. Throughout her career, she earned 45 medals, and 29 of those were gold medals. Uljana is truly a legend in women's basketball. Zainab Bibi. In Zainab's case, being tall was a very dangerous thing. At 7 feet 2 inches tall, she was worried about becoming a target for attacks in her homeland of Pakistan. She had to flee her home and seek asylum in Britain so she could feel safe. Zainab suffered from diabetes and high blood pressure, which eventually took her life in 2018. She was only 46 years old. Malgorzata Didek. If you're noticing that basketball is a popular sport among these ladies, you are correct. And we've got another WNBA player on our list. Poland-born Margot Didek's 7-foot 2-inch frame casts a shadow on the other players on the court. She played for the Utah Stars and the Connecticut Sun, but her career was cut short when she passed away at just 37 years old. She had a heart attack early on in her pregnancy with her third baby. WNBA president Laurel Richie called her a tremendous person, role model, an athlete who touched the lives of her many fans and made an indelible mark on women's basketball around the world. Dolores Pollard. Everyone said she was 8 feet 1 inch tall, but her actual measurement was 7 feet 5 inches. She traveled around the world in a sideshow as the world's tallest woman. She was born in 1946. In this picture, you can see that she is posing in front of a poster calling her the Amazon girl. But Dolores' life was also cut short. She passed away after complications from surgery in 1971. Sun Feng. She is the tallest woman in China at 7 feet 3 inches tall. She's actually considered the tallest woman in the world, but she's often mistaken for another Chinese giant. Yao Deifen. Some say she's the tallest woman ever at 7 feet 8 inches tall. Also born in China, Yao's giantism was because of a tumor in her pituitary gland, which pumped extremely high levels of growth hormone into her body. This caused her bones to grow very long and large. Her family raised enough money to have the tumor removed, but it came back. Since they couldn't afford another surgery, Yao continued to grow until she reached an amazing height of 7 feet 8 inches. Her parents say she was over 6 feet tall by the time she was only 11 years old. Unfortunately, Yao also passed away young, at just 40 years old. This left room for Sun Feng to become the tallest woman in China. Wasiliki Kalianji. If it weren't for the Guinness Book of World Records, we may never have known that this statuesque woman from Greece existed at all. She was born in 1882, and there are no pictures of her, but legend has it she had eyes the size of hen's eggs and enormous hands and feet. Unlike some of her fellow large ladies, she did not join the circus or travel in a sideshow, but she did make it in the record books at 7 feet 6.5 inches tall. Heather Green. Heather claims to be the tallest woman in the world, but she's not. She measures in at 6 feet 5.5 inches, which is still incredibly tall. Heather is over 7 feet tall when she wears heels. This blonde beauty has to duck to get through most doorways. From her YouTube video, it's clear that she enjoys towering over men who are not as tall as she is. Sandy Allen. At 7 feet 7 inches and 400 pounds, Sandy was a giant woman with a gargantuan sense of humor. Like many other women on this list, she was diagnosed with giantism due to excessive growth hormones in her system. She looked at her life as a great accomplishment, claiming to be the oldest giant who ever lived. No matter how sick she got, she never lost her sense of humor. She joked during an interview, telling the reporter that if they ever wanted the ceiling painted, just put a hat on her and tell her which way to walk. She was often the subject of gossip from from tabloids who claimed she had an affair with the world's shortest man. She would spend long periods inside her house, afraid of being stared at and ridiculed because of her size. But after Guinness recognized her and mailed her a certificate, she bought a van with the phrase "World's Tallest Woman" printed on it. She was also featured in a Federico Fellini film as a woman who arm wrestled in bars. Sadly, Sandy passed away in 2008 at 53 years old. Zhang Jinlian. At just under 8 feet 2 inches, she is the tallest woman on record in all of medical history. Born in 1964, Zhang lived to be almost 20 years old before she passed in 1982. According to the Guinness Book of World Records, Zhang shot up to over 5 feet tall before she even turned 4 years old. By the time she was 13, she was over 7 feet tall. Similar to many of her giant counterparts, she also suffered from health problems, namely diabetes and scoliosis. She was the only one in her family with giantism. Her parents were no taller than 5 feet 4.5 inches, and her brother was only 5 foot 2. That means she was almost 3 feet taller than her parents and her brother. Ali Stas. Ali is a former model who had to overcome a lot of bullying in school. She was over 6 feet tall in middle school, finally settling at 6 feet 9 inches in adulthood. People called her Godzilla and other cruel names, but she overcame it and learned to appreciate her height. Now she enjoys standing out from the crowd, and she has helpful advice to other tall women.
I would say to other women that don't feel confident in their appearance.
Today, Ali walks around with confidence. She doesn't care what other people think. She just enjoys being herself. Are you a tall girl in a small world? If so, tell us about your experience in the comments. Do you like being tall, or does it make your life harder? We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to The Taco for more.